dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. Search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. We're dreaming in the dark. We are nothing more than dust. You search but you stay lost. We are reaching for the stars, but we're making this too hard. And I wonder where you are. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Mysterious, that's the part you always show. 'Cause you're too curious. Maybe you should take it slow. Reaching for the stars. I wonder where you are. Oh.
Hi guys! So I realized so far through this August vlog, I have not talked to the camera once yet. So I thought I would do kind of like a post con review to kind of give you guys an idea of like my experience and what I learned from it. Hopefully it's not too echoey in this room. But basically, today's date is August 24th, so it has been a couple days since the con, or about a week since the con. And overall, so my whole experience with cons so far, this is my first year of doing cons. I don't know if I've mentioned that in a previous video, but the first con that I did this year was kind of more of a smaller con, a little bit more niche, because it was definitely more heavily centered around like sci-fi. Did really well at that one. Then the second con I did, and then this previous con, which was an anime con, were both done by the same organization that kind of organizes them. And that first one that I did in May was a Comic Con, so it was like more broad. Overall, I would say that con did not go very well, and I wasn't the only one. Everybody had a really hard time at that con, mostly because they just jam-packed so many vendors, so many like artist alley people. So kind of the ratio of people who attended, and especially people who attended who were willing to or wanting to buy things versus just how many vendors and artists they had in there, was a little bit unbalanced. There were some other issues that came up, and it was funny because looking at the information for the Anime Con that I did this month, again, same group, they had like a new disclaimer in there, kind of really stressing how everybody needed to stay within their space. And they did actively make changes to sort of rectify, I think, some of the complaints and the issues that happened at the Comic-Con and applied it to this Anime Con. So that was good. It's good that, clearly they are listening to some of the people who attended and their criticisms or their complaints and stuff, and actively tried to make some changes. So, fun fact for anybody else who is like me and just starting to do, tabling with their art and all that, what I learned from the Comic-Con was that apparently at Comic-Cons, you are going to, again, this is the advice that I got from a few people, was that yes, you are going to have a little bit of a harder time probably moving merchandise and prints or whatever it is you're selling, because there's just so many different people who are attending Comic-Cons of like various different, fandoms, whatever have you. So it's, I guess you could say it's a little bit harder to hit and market the right kind of merchandise, because not everybody's going to want to buy what you're selling or even, again, want to purchase things at a Comic-Con, because they're usually there for other things than really necessarily, I guess, the artist alley is kind of the impression that I got. So I was hopeful that with the Anime Con, things would go a little bit better, because that is more niche down. And overall, yes, I definitely did walk out of the Anime Con with a much better profit margin than I did with the Comic-Con in May, which, again, being completely transparent, based off the cost of the table, which the table costs for the Comic-Con were a bit more expensive than the Anime Con, I just broke even with how much I made and what the cost of the table was for the Comic-Con. With the Anime Con, within the first day, I did hit my table costs, which made me feel very relieved. But the issue came with the second day. The second day just did not go. I guess after the first day, everybody kind of saw what they wanted to see, bought what they wanted to buy. And so the second day just was kind of meh. But still, overall, I came out of the Anime Con with a better profit. Some other fun things that I learned from this experience, because there was definitely a couple things that I wanted to try during this con that I didn't do last con, just to experiment. Some of it was related to table setup, signage, and then other things had to do with the kind of merchandise that I was offering. Mainly one of the things I wanted to try experimenting with was mystery bags of prints and stickers, to see how those would do, because personally it's I kind of like mystery boxes, bags, things like that. I think they're fun, and again, being completely transparent, those did not do well at all. What also a big thing I learned was, especially it seems with the Comic-Con, Anime Cons, because of I think the age range that you're really looking at of attendance is kind of younger than necessarily older crowd. I would say the first con that I did this year was definitely a little bit more mature people, so people who are more willing to spend more money, again, because they had more money to spend. That's something to think about when you're deciding how to market yourself, or how to, what kind of, whatever artwork you're doing, who are you marketing to, and what are they willing to buy, at what price range are they willing to buy. Definitely at anime, Comic-Cons, go cheap or don't bother, is kind of the consensus I got from that. Lower ticket items definitely sold better. Overall, I'd say from all 3 cons that I've done this year, it's very obvious to me which of my products really sell the most. And that definitely at this point, 3 times, same consistency of like what are the main things that always sell and people always comment on, has given me a lot of insight. Okay, obviously that is the direction I should go in. That's not to say, again, when it comes to being an artist, when it comes to doing stuff like this, it is a fine line between, okay, you are a business, but you're also a creative person. You still want to do work and things and explore, concept or whatever that make you happy and that you enjoy, because that is where your work is going to shine the most. But you also want to make a profit. You're selling goods. You're marketing yourself. You are marketing your goods. You want to make money. So you still need to, appeal to your audience. Big key in there is trying to find the audience that enjoys what you enjoy as well. And I think at this point, I'm finding that niche of the people who really respond the most to a very specific kind of area of my work. What else can I really say about it? It definitely, I think again, because of like how people reacted to certain prices of things, mostly it was the reaction to prices of my original artwork that made me kind of like, maybe I should make some adjustments to how I'm pricing things. That's just, again, when it comes to pricing your work, and especially I feel like when it comes to originals, that's always kind of trial and error to find where is that price range where you feel good selling it and you don't feel like, oh, I should have charged more, or you feel bad because you let that piece go or something. And again, the price point where somebody is actually willing to purchase it. And that always fluctuates and that always changes as you develop more in your career, your art, journey, I think. Again, it's just a matter of finding that right point for you. So, again, if you guys want me to go into kind of more detail about this and go even more transparent on it, comment, let me know. The next con that I have, and it's the last con that I'm doing for this year, definitely next year, I really want to up how many cons, festivals, tablings, all that I do. But this was kind of like dipping my toes into the pond, so to speak, to kind of get used to it and kind of learn how I like to go about it. Definitely, again, from this past experience, keep it cheaper on the price range of things, and keep it simple. I think that is where I kind of shine the best, is when I keep it really simple, kind of minimalist, and just kind of let it, the work kind of speak for itself, I guess you could say, in a way. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, my last con for this year is HorrorCon, which I will definitely be vlogging that whole thing for September. I'm very nervous for that con because I really want it to do well for a couple of reasons. One is that is definitely like a market or a niche that I really want to do well in, because I personally like it. I especially like curiosity, oddity kind of stuff, witchy stuff, and I feel like, again, the horror is right along that same, path. So I want my work to do well at this, and I want people to respond to it well in that group, because I want to do more, events kind of on that line. The other reason I wanted to do well is because this is probably the most expensive tabling or like table cost that I've had out of all. This is a total of all four of them. I did have another con that was like a one-day con that was lined up in October, but that one unfortunately got canceled because of, again, the group had some scheduling conflict with what was happening in the city itself. There were roads major roads that were going to be shut down that day. So we're like, oops. So got a refund on that one. Thank goodness. But yeah, that's what I've been up to. That was kind of some of my rambly thoughts about that con. Again, if you like this kind of relaxed, sit down, chat, let me tell you about this kind of stuff, definitely leave a comment, let me know, and we'll see what else I vlog for this month. Bye bye.